Right, this is the R walkthrough for the magic word, which is question 4 of Jurassic Hack. And to summarize, we've got to read in a list of integers, and we've got to filter out all of the integers that belong to the Fibonacci sequence, or the first 50 Fibonacci numbers at least. And then whatever we filter, we've got to sum in order to get our value to input into the console. Okay, so I've already made a head start by copying my data and putting it into a new trinket, a big list of integers here. Let's read the data. And in R, we're going to use scan input.text. What is the data? That is integer, and separated by colons. Make sure we got it. Yep, looks good to me. Right, so I've got my data in. First job done. Right, I'm going to create a list now, which will contain my first 50 Right, I'm now going to create a list, or a vector I should say, because I'm doing R. Create a vector containing the first 50 Fibonacci numbers. Now, if you still don't know what a Fibonacci number is, go and take a look. There's a link on the question, which will take you to a bit of information there. Where am I going? So I'm not going to describe what a Fibonacci number is. I'm just going to get the numbers into a list. Okay, so let's create a new vector called fiblist. And I'm going to define the first two elements of that list as 0 and 1, which are the first two Fibonacci numbers. They go 0, 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, and then you just keep going. You keep adding successive terms, okay? So I've got my first two. Now I want to create the next 48, because I need 50 numbers in total. So for I in range 1 to 48, okay, I'm going to update that list with itself first, fib list, so it'll include itself. Then I'm going to add a new element, which will be the sum of the last two elements in the list. So in this case, it's going to be this 0 and 1, okay? And to do that, to get the last element of the list, I can call fiblist and index it according to the length of the list. So in this case, the length of the list is 2 initially. So this number in here is 2, which means it will index the second item, which is currently the value is 1. And I want to add that to the last but one. Let me just give myself some space here. The last but one fib list length fib list minus 1. So that will actually give me, in this case, the first element, which will be 0, so 0 plus 1. So I'll then have a new element, which will give me my third element, which will be 0 plus 1, which is another 1 in this case. Okay, and I can do that. Let me just print out fib lists to make sure we are okay. Okay, it doesn't like that. I forgot about that. Yeah, needs to be on the same line. I've got an error. What have I done wrong? Fib list, length, fib list. I think I've missed out a closing square bracket there. And it's not going to like. Should there be a square bracket there? No, there should be a normal bracket at the end. Let's try that. There you go, that's better. And it doesn't look very pretty, but 0, 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13. These are all Fibonacci numbers all the way up to this bad boy up here. Okay, so I've got those first 50 numbers. Now, I need to loop over all of the elements of my data vector, and in each case check to see if it's in my Fibonacci list. So to do that, I'm actually going to do a bit of a cheat here. I'm going to call it fib sum. So I want to sum them up as well, right? So I'm just going to do this. Sum data, data percentage sign in percentage sign fib list. Now, I'll explain this one in a second, but let's just see if we get the same answer. Oh, I've got to print it out as well. Unexpected, and I've missed something out. Yeah, I missed out the closing bracket here. Let me print this out as well. Yeah, 9957. Let's just do a sanity check. 957. So we're obviously right. And just to go back here and explain what I've done, what we're doing is a kind of it's a loop within a list. So what this percentage does, it basically creates a big list of true or false values. So it looks through every element in my data and it says, is it in the Fibonacci list? And if it is, it goes true, comma, and adds another element. So I get a big list, or vector I should say, of true and false values. And then because we're using that within the data, so we're using it to slice the data, it's only going to pick out the data elements that is true. And then we're going to sum those. Okay, I think this will be much better explained in the ChatGPT log that I give you, which will be on the site as well. So take a look at that. But otherwise, you should be able to proceed now.